Hello, hello, friends. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, November 5th. It is election day. If you have not done your duty as an American and gone to vote, I encourage you very strongly to listen to this call first, of course, and then go vote after we're done. My name is Jen Neitzel. I am your co-host along with the fabulous Laura Biewer. Laura, say hi.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here. If you're able to turn your cameras on, we would love to see your faces. It helps us to get to know you better, and create a relationship and help us see your reactions when we talk about the different things that we discuss on this call. Speaking of which, if you are new to Tuesday Notary Titans, welcome. We are thrilled that you are here. Oh my gosh, Michelle Klebner's here. Hi,
Oh,
Michelle. Yay.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Laura. Hi,
Hi.
Jen. Nice to see you guys.
Good
let me
to
see
see
who's
you
on
too,
on
Michelle.
page three.
Is she over
I
at
like
page?
to keep going all the way to
I
page three.
know. Everybody's got their cameras on. I'm loving it. Keep those cameras on. All
Oh,
right, guys.
Tabitha's back there.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
I
so
see
many.
Son. We haven't seen him. Just
Who's
looking at,
that? Oh yeah. Who's
yeah.
up there? Hey, Cynthia's on. We got Patty. We got Carol. We got everybody on the call. This is the place to be. We all know it. All right, guys. Listen, today we are taking your questions. We are here. Laura and I are here to answer any question you might have about being a notary or about your notary business. So here's how this works. All you have to do is get in line to have your question answered. And you're going to do that by raising your virtual hand. You can find that at the bottom of your Zoom screen. It may be under your reactions. Um, while you guys are getting in line to have all your questions answered, I'm going to start the way we always do with some announcements. All right. We have been talking about the Innovator Spotlight this month being Wendy Diem's Notary Planner. And I reached out to Wendy because I told her, I said, hey, I've been talking about your updated planner on Tuesday Notary Titans. And I'm a big fan of this planner, guys. I love it. And she has offered through November 11th a $5 off discount for pre-orders of the new undated calendar that she is releasing, planner that she's releasing. This thing's great. It's big, it's thick, it's spiral, it lays flat. It has your rescission calendar. It's got a quick reference guide. It's got notes for your personal thoughts and ideas. It's got goal setting sections. It's perfect for those of you who, and lots of you tell me this all the time, I just need to get organized. I'm feeling overwhelmed, Jen. What do I do? Part of the process of getting past overwhelm is having a good system to keep you organized. And this one's great. So, using the code pre-order at checkout, you can get $5 off the planner through November 11th. That coupon expires November 11th. So you've got 6 days to use that if you are interested in that calendar. And you will find the link to the calendar in your chat. Okay, next, there's 2 days left for the JKC Mobile Notary giveaway. Now, you guys know Jen Cooper is our right hand. We could not do this call without her, without Trisha. We have so many amazing people that help us, but JKC Mobile Notary, which is Jen Cooper, she has an amazing giveaway for notaries to end this year. You've got 5 more days. Is it 5 more days, Jen?
The announcement is coming out this Sunday. So technically you have 5 days to register. Yeah.
So follow the instructions in the chat to get registered. No obligation here. Here's what you're going to get: a 2-year free membership to the NNA. Right there. That's perfect, right? That would be enough. But you also get the 1-year advocate level membership for the California League of Independent Notaries. You get the Notary Assist notary bag. best bag ever. You get the Integrity Journal from Clyde Hempner. You get how to create your elevator pitch instructional video from me, Jen Neitzel at Marketing for Notaries. And there is so much more. All you got to do is head over to YouTube, follow the instructions to get registered, and the announcement will be made this Sunday. You don't want to miss out on this prize pack bundle. It is a lot. Okay. Who has some questions for us today? We got another quiet crowd today, Laura.
I know. And so while we're waiting for them to put their hands up, perhaps I could share a little bit of how people can actually get in touch with me.
Fabulous. Everybody wants to get in touch with Laura Biewer. So pay attention, guys. This is how you can connect with her outside this call.
You can connect with me if you'd like a free strategy call, and it'll book you right onto my calendar, calendly.com/Biewer. Or you could join me every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time, for Laura's Inner Circle. And it's a similar call to this, a little smaller. So we set an intention first, talk about that, and then we take questions. And we don't take as many different questions because we try to go really more in depth on each one. Or if you just like to get my email, once a month I put out an email. It's typically educational in nature. And you can just go to my website, coachmelaura.com, and drop your email there for me. And then finally, I have an announcement. Some may not know this, but the Beyond Loan Signings book has now been made into an audio version. And some people have asked Bill and I about that. How come it's not audio? Well, it is now. So if you haven't had time to read it, you bought it, but you're really not having time to listen to it, look at your car, as your university, and pick it up, audio version. I think you'll like it. All right, those are mine.
That's exciting, Laura, an audio version of your book. I love it. And we've got Cynthia in Montana with her hand up. Cynthia, what is your question for us today?
Hi there. It's a marketing question, branding.
Well, you are in the right place, my friend.
And I'm a beginner, but I'm hoping that this might be useful to more experienced people as well. So I'm launching a business in my local area that is as a mobile notary, Rivali mobile notary, right? But I'm also going to build into my notary business, the apostille business. And I'm taking Judy Lawrence's course as we speak, right? Wonderful. And I'm part of the way through that. And I'm going to add that into my mobile notary. Now, my question is, so for branding for the apostille business and which is not local, and I want people to find me who are not just in Rivali, or to have that kind of sense of narrowness about me, right? But then, I have picked up a couple of domains related to being an apostille. I can feed that into my website. You can have a different, I could have cynthiamealy.com and it could open up to my RivaliMobileNotary.com, right? Do I do that? Or how would you handle this if you were in my situation? Has anybody else handled this as well?
Well, great question. And I personally, Cynthia, do not think that you don't need to have separate anything. It's a service. Tell me the name of your Rivali.
Yeah, Rivali Mobile Notary. And that's physical, being here as a notary, going to people. Yeah.
So I would include it because you've already worked on building SEO for that particular site. Like you're getting it, your website up, you're getting it out, it's working. You could add the apostille as a drop-down service. So one of the tabs on your website could be services offered, right? And then you could have a page about your mobile notary services, and then you can have a page for your apostille services. Just like, if let's say 2 years from now, you decide you want to work in the trust delivery space, then you could add trust deliveries as another page, so that you've got one website to deal with. Because man, it's tough. We got enough on our plates as business owners anyway, right? Like keeping things simple. I am all about keeping things simple for ourselves. So that way you've got one website to manage and you're just offering your community different services. And as you gain certifications through continuing education and you go through the years, you'll just be able to add that on and take advantage of the SEO that you've already built. And Jen Cooper has left you an example of her website in the chat. So you can go check that out. Her website's clean, it's gorgeous, easy to use. Go check it out so you can see the different services that she offers. Laura, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I agree. Mine, I actually do have two websites, but it was just because my business was all about being a practitioner. That's every service I have, apostille, trust, all of that is there. And then I have a separate website as a coach. And it's such a different business that I just felt I used to have the coaching on all one, and I found it was too buried. But if you're just having different lines of service and all of it is about you doing the work, I think one centralized place is what you want to do. Get them in your door.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cynthia, we met in Montana, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, you
On a way
look,
that you remember.
you look so familiar. I'm like, I know we met in Montana. And I think I've asked you this once before. So if this is the second time I'm asking you,
No,
I
it is.
apologize.
Yeah.
But I kept looking at your little square. I'm like, gosh, I know we've talked face to face before.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah. I was at the conference. Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on the call. And hopefully did that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you for helping.
Fabulous. I'm so happy. All right, guys, who else has some questions for us today? Oh, Laura, everybody's quiet. Oh, here comes Danica. She's the brave one right now. Danica, tell us what state you're in and what we can do for you today.
It's Danica, and I'm in Florida.
Danica. Okay, thank you for correcting me.
I am brand new. I have literally done 2 notarizations, so I am just wanting general marketing advice. Is question number 1, and question number 2. I'm interested in doing that. It's my understanding that estate planning and trust delivery are kind of one and the same.
Yes. Yes. So I'm going to let the person who coined the term trust delivery tell you about that. And then we're going to talk about some general marketing advice. So Laura, do you want to talk
So
about
if you're
something?
interested in handling trust work, there is a certification you can get that will help you understand what is estate planning in terms of the documents that you're going to be asked to notarize, how it's organized together to be called a living trust. What's the difference between just a few documents like a will and a power of attorney versus a whole trust that's in a binder, the different ways you can bundle services so that you get better pricing. We're also going to talk to you there about marketing and how to connect with attorneys and build your own referral list. There's also an ethics section, and then there's a certification. What's really nice about this is that you don't have to have a whole bunch of other notary experience, because we're going to teach you what to do with those documents. You're going to see every one of them and see the notarization, and I go through all of that. Personally, actually, that's my section with you. So you don't have to have been a notary, 2 or 3 years to say, well, now maybe I have enough experience. See, that's what the certification does. It does the shortcut for you, right? So that you could do it sooner and know that you're competent at what you do, and that you have a bigger picture of what all the documents, how they're interconnected to each other, so that when you do try to connect with attorneys, you can speak articulately with them about the work that they do with their clients. So that's that one in particular, and that is available at notarycoach.com/CNTDA, and it is a mouthful. Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent, CNTDA.
And Jen's going to put that in the chat for you too. So look at that. It's like she
Yeah.
reads my mind.
So
Thank
now,
you, Jen.
the other Jen, you want to pick up from there?
Yeah, so you're new to the business. Welcome. It's an awesome business. It sounds like you're kind of thinking about focusing on trust deliveries. Is that where you really want to
I
focus your first
I
year?
am thinking about niching out. I am reading his thing about how volatile the loan signing market can be, and
Yeah, it's a bit of an uphill battle right now just because rates are higher. So many people refinanced at 3%. They're never going to refinance again and go back to 6, right? That'd be silly. And it doesn't make sense. And it's, there's the housing is so expensive. So it's just not as easy of a lift as it was back in the day. And which is, like 2020, 2021, 2022. So there's definitely more opportunity in the trust delivery space as 56% of the adults in this country need an estate plan. That's a much bigger market than any mortgage loan, right? So
right.
yeah, it's just the opportunity is endless. And so when you ask, when someone asks me, they're new to marketing and they're like, "Hey, I need some marketing tips." So marketing is a layered daily um, task and includes so many different things that it can really get confusing. And I'm sure if you've Googled it at all, that you've like gone down the rabbit hole, right? Of this program, that program, this, that, what, and you're like, what do I do? I don't know how to do this. So the biggest thing is growing your know, like, and trust factor in your community so that you're not dependent on signing services to send you business like we did with the loan signing model. And that includes getting out, going to networking events, meeting people, telling everybody that you are a notary and that you are there to help them and that you want to serve your community that way. The other thing that was imperative for me and worked so well for me that I created a whole website around it is having a framework to follow so that you've got a guideline for what to do. And I call that the 5-point marketing system. So the 5 points, if you guys don't know that Marketing for Notaries teaches you the 5-point marketing system, it's popping in, which is direct marketing. And I know that scares the bejesus out of most of you, but I tell you how to calm those nerves, how to work through that fear and resistance, because guess what? It's not exclusive to you. We all have it when we do new things. We all get scared. So we talk about direct marketing. We talk about how to follow up after direct marketing, because there's absolutely no point in you going through that whole mental exercise of gearing up to go meet people and introduce yourself and your business if you're not following up with them. And then there's no point in following up if you don't stay in touch with them with the monthly, what I call monthly shout out, which another term would be a monthly touch point. And then I teach you how to leverage social media because it's free. And I teach you the fine art of networking. Those are the 5 points, right? So for anybody that's interested in marketing, those are the 5 big points that you need to focus on. And Marketing for Notaries shows you how to do that. So definitely go check that out. But if you are going to purchase the CNTDA program to learn how to be a trust delivery agent, you are going to get a very robust marketing training that's going to teach you exactly, like Laura said, how to partner with estate planning professionals in your area.
Okay.
So you will not feel like, yes, I know what these documents look like and how to notarize them. You're not going to walk away going, but I don't know how to get that business. You're going to walk away from that certification going, okay, I know what I need to do.
Right.
Because we lay it out for you step by step.
So you guys not only provide the training to understand what documents and how to do things, but you also provide the marketing training as well.
That's correct. That is
Amazing.
correct.
Amazing.
That's why it's the best program out there, because everybody else will teach you about the documents. You can get that training anywhere. We're going to teach you how to connect with the estate planning professionals in your area. And I want you to check the chat because you had an offer from a couple, at least one person from Carol who's amazing. She's in Fort Myers, asking where you're located. It's important as a new notary that you don't fall prey to the idea that other notaries are your competition. They are not. They are not your competition. They're potential friends and collaborators and people that can provide you support and encouragement when you need it. So I would start, one of the best things you could do is just start reaching out to other notaries. If anybody is in Florida and wants to connect, drop your contact information in the chat, and it's going to help you connect with some other folks in your area. What part of Florida are you in?
I'm in the Orlando area.
Awesome, right there in the middle. So you've got people that are offering to give you some advice. Definitely reach out to them. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
And
Awesome.
Jen, before we move on, I think there's something really important. I jumped right over to trust because that's what you asked me to cover. But I'm going to tell Danica as well as every other notary on this call. I don't care what specialty you're going to go after. If you are not competent as a notary first, you will not, you might get some business, then you'll lose the business and you won't grow your business. So I know that Florida has, is it a 3-hour course? Right? You don't know everything off of those 3 hours. It cannot make you a competent notary. So make sure that you are looking at your Florida, is the governor's manual, I think, in Florida. So that you know and identify things that you're not sure about. All right. So if you read through and you're like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Then you can go to Laura's Inner Circle. You can come here and ask those questions. It's important for everyone that their foundation is competency. And then you can start saying, I'm going to specialize in this, that, and the other thing. And the second thing I want to say, because a lot of states on here, Florida included, is a RON, R-O-N state. And know how to notarize before you start getting into that. Because you're going to add a whole lot of technical customer support that's going to go on top of just notarizing documents. So I think RON is a great thing. It's another way to get business, especially if you want to do some from home. But it is not good to start there. It's much better to have that traditional notarization under your belt and understand the process before you start doing all the electronic stuff and dealing with platform navigation, dealing with customers who aren't savvy, dealing with many different platforms who have different ways of charging, different ways of navigating. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that you always want to start with, do I understand the job? Do I understand what I'm doing? I get off my soapbox.
That's not a soapbox. I love it. I love it. You're absolutely right. That is, the most important thing that we can do as notaries, is have the excellent foundation. And as you go through and you learn and you're doing more notarizations, you're gaining that information. But it is so important that you know your state laws backwards and forwards. Thank you, Laura. Not a soapbox at all. Did we answer your questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, guys, who else has some questions for us today? We knew today was going to be a little different on the call. We figured a lot of folks were going to be showing up just to have something to do to keep them occupied, right? So let us know what we can do to help answer any questions you have about your business. Jen Cooper, do you have some chat questions for us?
Yeah, I've got a question from Kat. She's asking if you guys offer a payment plan for the CMTDA course.
No, we do not.
Time.
We do not at this time offer a payment plan for it. However, we do accept payment through PayPal, and oftentimes they will allow you through PayPal to split up your payment. So if you have that benefit through PayPal, then they will allow you to split that up. But at this time, we do not have a payment plan on that. The cost, if anybody's wondering, for the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent training, it's $249 for your certification. That is a one-time fee. We don't do any of that recert every year stuff. It's a one-time fee of $249 that comes with a directory listing on Godery. And Godery is the directory that we are exclusively marketing to the estate planning professionals across the country. Across estate planning, you can find that anywhere. And then let's see. I saw another question from Taloni in the chat. What is the best way to learn how to use different platforms for RON? And what are the less cost efficient ones to use? So
I think that's a chat because people, first of all, California, we're not using RON. So I really cannot contribute to that question.
yeah. And I don't use it. I'm in Texas. It's legal here. I don't use it. It didn't fit my business model. I just want to say with this question, guys, I know it's tempting to go with the least priced thing sometimes for budgetary reasons, but don't let that be your number one reason for choosing anything when it comes to your business, not just a RON platform, but anything. Pricing should not be your number one draw. It should be the services offered, the education offered, the training offered, the reputation of the trainers, et cetera, et cetera. I know so many notaries that choose, and I'm sure, Laura, you have these discussions when you have your one-on-ones, but I talk to so many notaries who are disappointed because they spent, X amount of dollars. I went with this program because it was cost effective and I just didn't get anything out of it. Should have gone with the more expensive. I hear it all the time, right? And they feel like they've wasted money. So it's worth spending some time when you're looking for a RON platform. Look into what works for you, not what works for everybody else. Laura, what do you have to say about that?
I do want to say that Cyberize It by Amy Seitz has what they call, I think she calls it like a sandbox. So she has a very low cost to go in and play around and learn how to navigate and how to do that. Cyberizeit.com, cyberizeit.com. And she does have something for people who just want to play around and see how it works.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that idea of a sandbox. A great idea. Okay, guys, who else has some questions for us today? You're welcome, Taloni. I'm glad I got to answer that question for you. We don't usually read out of the chat, so I'm glad that we had that opportunity. Anybody else have questions for us?
No, we might have a short call today.
Carol's got one. Hi, Carol. Welcome
Carol.
back.
Hi, how are y'all?
Fabulous. What can we do for you today?
Well, I have a signing tomorrow, so I just want to make sure that I have a potential, this is probably a little bit more for Laura. I have a signing where we're doing I'm doing a power of attorney for a gentleman who's already in hospice.
Mhm.
And so I created an orientation screening question sheet that I could use with him. And I just want to see if these are the questions. I did it. I went back and looked at all my notes from before in one of your sessions because we're not sure he's going to pass. The wife is already aware that he may not. We're doing, I am notarizing other documents for her, but for him, he may or may not be coherent at the time that I get there. So the ones that I had that you had 6 different ones that you had. One was, do you know your name? This is what I wrote down. So maybe I'm wrong. That's why I want to double check. Do you know your name? Do you know where you are? Please tell me Carol, why am I here? What is my purpose of being there? Do you know what kind of documents you're signing? Do you know and then the other 2 were, do you know the various people in the room? And do you affirm that you want to sign the documents today?
Yeah, any way of presenting those questions work just fine. What you're trying to determine is, do they know who they are? Number one,
Right.
do they know where they are? And do they know their relationship against other people? So that they're clear. If they're clear about who they are and where they are, and who
Okay.
these other people are, then I would go on to say, okay, great. And my understanding is you want to sign it. Is that true? Do you want to sign this?
Yeah, right. So
Yeah,
I'm
so
just
you've got
trying to
'em.
establish he's comfortable, and then yes, you do want to move forward today
Yeah.
with this document and what kind of document we're signing.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that sound good, what I had?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly
Okay.
fine.
I just created a little checklist for any of ones of these that I have, so that then I can include it. I just keep it in my records here, but the attorney that's involved in this one, I've done stuff for her. She wanted me to do some affidavit of competency, and I told her I would not do that.
No, all we can do is
And
notarize
I said,
the
I can't verify that he's competent. I can't attest it based on the wording that she had found some sort of form online. And I said, I'm sorry, I won't do that. And she was okay with that. So the other thing I wanted to say was, it's okay if the attorney presents you with something you're uncomfortable with, because there was no way that I was going to determine this guy's mental capacity. I'm not qualified to do
You're not a
that.
doctor. Yeah.
I'm not a
You know,
doctor.
let's talk about this. So I may not be able to give a diagnosis. I may not be able to determine their mental capacity in terms of legal competency. That's what an attorney does. I can't do that, but I can determine if they're alert and aware enough to be signing this document. And I will make that determination as a notary myself, regardless of, well, the doctor said it's okay, and the attorney said it's okay. The attorneys usually don't even check. You have to feel confident yourself that this
Right.
person is alert and aware enough to understand the consequences of what they're signing. And
Right.
if you feel that way, then document that you screen them, and you've got your 6 questions in your file in case you're ever called to court. Well, what does that mean? It means this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not
I think she was
pronouncing.
comfortable. She
Yeah,
told me one of the reasons she wanted me to do this, because they can't make it into the office, is because she trusts me that I'm going to do that right determination. And
right.
I said, you're correct. I am going to do that, but I can't sign a document
Right,
that
because
she
we don't
wanted
have the
me.
title.
Yeah, I can't sign some sort of document that, I mean, if you'd have read the document, I have to send it to you. I mean, it's like, it's like I was swearing, I was affirming that this guy was mentally capable. No, I can't do that. I don't have that. I don't believe I have all
You
the
don't.
wording in there led you to is
Yeah.
if it was a doctor doing
Yeah.
this competency. And so, but she was
Attorneys and
comfortable.
doctors, the only ones who can pronounce legal competency in writing to utilize for them to do something.
Right.
All
And
I
that,
can
and
do is what I shared with you regarding the document they're signing in front of me at that moment.
correct. And that's what I
Yeah.
did here. So,
Okay.
okay. I just wanted to double check and make sure that the questions that I had written down
Yeah.
from a long time ago were still valid, or if anything changed.
Thanks, Carol, for
Thank you.
reminding everybody those amazing questions. That's important for an important tool for all of us to have in our notary bag. And Tammy Murley from Arizona is patiently waiting. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, how are you?
Fabulous. What's your question?
So, just kind of on that conversation, I have been dealing with this situation for several weeks where this woman contacted me to have me notarize some documents for her ex-husband. Apparently, he doesn't have anybody else here in the state. So, being that they have a child and still apparently amicable, she's trying to step in and get power of attorney he's in like a group home situation. And she's trying to help get him into a better facility and just kind of help manage all of his stuff. He's got some advanced Parkinson's and things like that, can't manage his own stuff. So she wants to get powers of attorney taken care of. Well, long story short, I kept asking about, does he have ID? Does he have ID? Does he know what he's signing? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I go to the group home. nobody had his ID. So I had to just leave because he didn't have ID.
Mhm.
So a couple of weeks go by and I go back again. So somehow or another, they were able to get a copy of his ID sent to them. And so now we've got an ID. And I show up and I think he's just, it's a challenge for him to communicate as it is. I don't know. I hate this situation because we want to help, right? And I know that he needs these people to help him, but as I'm communicating with him as best I can, I'm like, are you okay signing this? Do you want to sign this? And it's like I keep getting like conflicting feelings from him, like it's his ex-wife that is being named in this document. But on one hand, he's telling me he doesn't want to name her, and then he wants, and she keeps telling me there's nobody else. There's nobody else, like I have to be the one to do this. I've already been doing this. I've been doing this, but now I just need this so I can help access his money to get this and that. And he's just like, and he's trying to tell me, and this woman, the ex-wife, she lives out of town, but still in state, not that far away. And yet she still hasn't come to meet me with him. She's doing everything over the phone. And the guy's telling me, he's like, oh, you don't know her. She just wants my money. Then I'm like, and I don't know her from Adam. I don't know this guy from Adam. She sounds like she's trying to help. She's had conference calls with me, with this man's brother, and with also the man's daughter. And all three of them are on the phone with me, with him. They're like, Dad, you need to sign this. Mom's trying to help you. You need to sign this. And, I keep trying to stay neutral and be like, I feel like she's trying to help, but I'm not here to make you sign anything. If you're not comfortable signing this, we're not going to continue with this. And the last time I was there, he signed the two documents, and I did have a witness there, but I still just was getting hesitation from him and just feeling like he just wasn't really into it. So I didn't have my notary or my witness sign anything, and I didn't notarize it. I took the documents and I told the lady on the phone, I said, you know what? I said, I'm not comfortable completing this. I don't feel like he wants to go through with this. And they're like, yeah, well, I think they gave him his medication. He seems like he's out of it. When I talked to him yesterday, he was all on board. And she keeps telling me every time they talk to him, he's on board, he's on board. And then I get there, and he's just like, he just kind of gives me the head shake thing, and I'm just like, I feel so conflicted, and I've told the lady, I said, I just don't feel comfortable. And I hope you can respect that I can't put myself in a position. I have to be able to determine that he was willing to sign this, and my witness isn't comfortable signing this. And she's like, well, maybe you can go back, next week or, at another time. And I was like, I can't keep going back hoping that he's, going to be on board, hoping that he's a little more there next time. I can't keep going back. That was my third time there. It's a really uncomfortable place. It's an uncomfortable situation. We were sitting around this giant dining table. There was some other woman still sitting there.
Yeah, that's a lot. Let's get Laura's perspective on this. Laura?
Yeah, so I would tell you that if you're getting the feeling that he's getting pressured to sign, and it sounded like his family was pressuring him to sign because she was the only one, that was the reason they were giving, that doesn't matter to me why he's getting pressured. If he's getting pressured and he's hesitant and doesn't want to sign it, that's the end of that story. The lady might have another option other than a power of attorney. Now, if he is, which is conserve him so that she can take care of it. But that means hiring an attorney. That means going through court. That's a legal process. And if she doesn't like doing stuff for him without having that document, then maybe she needs to stop doing stuff for him. And maybe the adult children need to be doing something for him. So I would have stopped, and I would not have kept going back. It sounds to me, because you told quite the story, that the environment and his response to you was, I don't want to sign it. I don't really care why he doesn't want to sign it. It doesn't matter.
He
As soon
told
as
you.
I hear that, and I hear that family members are pushing him to sign it, that's an issue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have to say, Tammy, in the majority, not all, but the majority of the fraud stories involving notaries that I read, a lot of them, there is this kind of created confusion happening. People around them are creating all of this confusion, and all of the while creating responsibility for you, like, making you feel like you have some sort of responsibility. But he's your customer because he's the one signing it. And he said no, period. That's the end of the story,
Yeah.
and hopefully they don't find somebody that breaks that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But for you, you did the right thing by not having it. It smells real fishy to me.
And the only thing
Yeah.
I can hear you say, Tammy, was, did you clear out the room? Because when I've got family trying to pressure, I tell them, get out.
Mhm.
I need 10 minutes by myself with this signer, with nobody over talking him or me. You need to be out of the room completely so
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
they have the opportunity to feel comfortable enough to say what they've got to say. And if
Yeah.
in that privacy, they say, I feel like I'm being pressured, I don't want to do this, then that's the end of the story there. So I don't know if you did that or not, but I didn't hear you say that.
So nobody has been there with him. It's just all been on conference calls.
Okay,
Because
then
the
they need to
daughter,
be muted or hang up
okay.
so
Yeah, I
that
think
they're not influencing.
yeah, he did ask me to hang up. I said, well, actually I told the lady, I said, give me a few minutes. I got to talk to him. And that's when he did, he's it's hard to even hear him. He's talking very weakly also. So that's what he said. He's like, you don't know her, she just wants my money. And yeah,
Hey, but that doesn't matter, Tammy. You know how
no, I
you
know.
handle that?
No, I
You
know.
say, that's your business. The only
Yeah,
thing I need to know right now is, do you want to sign this document? I don't need
right.
to know everything else because I don't want to be pulled into the family drama. What I need to know right now is, are you able and willing to sign it? If the answer is no, not today, the answer is goodbye.
Yeah,
That's it. I know we feel emotions about somebody needing assistance, but we have our limits.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
the longer you listen to other people, the more time you spend in that drama, the more you get sucked in.
Yep.
yeah,
And that's just good life advice too, Tammy. The more you spend time with drama, the more you get sucked in. I need a t-shirt that says that.
yeah.
Leave it to Laura, always coming up with a good quote. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Tammy. I think that's a really good
Yeah.
discussion. And
Yeah, I think this is the first time that I've really contemplated not completing an assignment, because I'm just
and it feels
not
weird.
comfortable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just not comfortable that he's either in his right mind to sign it, or he just is
He does.
seemingly very
Yeah.
hesitant and resistant to sign it. And like you said, Laura, really for whatever reasons, they're his. And whether
Yeah.
he knows what's best or not, if he's telling me he doesn't want to sign, and I've voiced that.
He
I said,
doesn't
it's not,
define.
I'm not here to make him sign. I'm not here to make him sign.
Yeah.
If he's not been declared incompetent, he has the right to do the wrong thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just so you
Yeah.
know, adults have the right to make the bad decision, to sign the wrong document, to not do something. That's their right, unless they're conserved. And
Yeah.
that's not my business, not my fault, not my deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna touch base with you, Laura, on that, but
Uh-huh.
I figured since I hopped on here today, it would be a good learning
Yeah,
experience.
it is a great learning experience. Thank you, Tammy. We appreciate it. Kayla, did I say your name right?
Yes. You
Awesome.
pronounced it
Kayla,
right.
tell us where you're calling from and what your question is.
Yeah, so I'm calling from Houston, Texas, and my question is, as somebody that works full time, specifically as a teacher in education, would you guys recommend starting out in general notary work or loan signing? And I'm gearing more towards loan signings because I think that it's a consistent kind of document that you'll see on a daily basis, but I've also been given a lot of feedback that general notary work is also a very good avenue to start in as well. So I'm just curious to know what you ladies think will be best for.
Well, great question, Laura. What do you have to say?
So I would say this, I think loan signings is a specialty like any other specialty that everybody else says is general notary work. So I don't have general, I have lots of specialties, and loan signings is one of them. Here's the deal with loan signings. It is not consistent in documents because every lender, every title company, they have a different, their own version of things. Instructions can be conflicting, instructions can be duplicated. There is a lot of drama with some of this work. So I would tell you it's not easy. And you need to be the most competent at what you do because you're going to be asked and pushed by people who hire you to do the wrong thing. So that's what I think about that. I think loan signing should not be done by brand new people because you need some good guidance and good support before you jump into that. So that's, it's not that I don't think you should do it. I do think you should do it. I don't think it should be first.
Right.
Especially if you think it'll be easier. And it's also not consistent. You could go a week or two without any jobs at all. And then, you know, then you can get 2 or 3, and then you can go a month without any jobs at all. So it's very inconsistent in volume as well. So you want to have a foundation of stuff that doesn't matter what the interest rates are. That work just keeps coming in. You know, people get sick every day. People go to hospitals every day, right? That's work that isn't going to change based on who's in office, what the interest rate is. It's going to be how people get old. Like this is all stuff that isn't going to change. So that's why I like hospital work, particularly. And it's great if you're in a travel-friendly state.
Yeah, and I am. And I think Houston is a very big city. But I think what I'm having the issue with the most is navigating working such a very demanding career and then also trying to put in that time and that consistency for my business as well. So I think I've heard you talk about this where you're not so much like estate planning and things like that, but I think you called it like field workers, something like you called it a while back. But it's like, how would you recommend kind of like navigating in that space while you are working full time as well?
Navigating in the loan signing world?
No. More so general notary, like you said, like hospital work and things
So
like
use
that.
the low-hanging fruit. Do what's easy. One is have a good business profile on Google. It's free.
Okay.
Optimize it. It doesn't mean do the first 3 or 4 questions. Optimize it, put in pictures, do everything that you can because it will be your biggest lead magnet, number 1. Number 2, you're in Texas?
Yes.
Texas. And Texas is travel friendly. There's no restrictions on that. So if hospitals are okay for you, not everybody can deal with going in to see sick people, then that is where you take it. Or what do you get? $10 for a notarization?
Yes, it's $10 here.
$10. So you take that and then you add your travel. Let's say that's $35. So now that's $45. And then you've got the issues of going into a hospital, navigating that because you got to park in the South 40. You've got to walk, you got to go through security. You got to wait to have access to the patient. And so that's like another, let's say $50 access fee. That's what I have. Access for facility access is $50 surcharge. Otherwise it's $35 if you just want me to come to your house. But if you want me to go to the hospital, it's a different story. Now I'm talking about $95 for one document. Did you have to print that document? No. Did you have to coordinate with a title company or anybody else? No. Now, 95, I just kind of did some simple math. You might have a bigger access fee or you might have a bigger travel fee. The only thing you can't change is the $10 part. So I go to hospitals and I go to them almost every day. And each assignment for me is right about $100 every single time. Now, people feel lucky to get $100 assignments on the loan signing part, and they got to do a lot more work to get that.
That is true,
right? And so the SEO part will get it, but the other part is, as Jen will talk about, is building authentic relationships with the right people. That means social services, that means the director of nurses, that means making sure you do things that they you stand out, you're memorable, that you're there. For instance, I go in, I check in at the nurse's desk and say, I'm here to see patient in room 406. Is there any reason for them not to be signing legal documents today? All right. So they have faith in me that I understand that this person's compromised. That's why they're there. And then I'm going to be careful about that. The other thing is, and of course they can't tell me what they're there for or what's wrong with them, but they certainly can see if there's any doctor's orders that says they're not allowed to sign a document. All right. So remember that when I visit with them. So those kinds of things. I've also offered education. You're an educator. So educating them on notarization, social staff, because I'll get called by a social worker. Hey, I've got this patient. Can you come in and take care of them? And they tell them a bunch of, I don't want to say lies, they just don't know any better. And they say, oh, the notary is going to bring the document. Oh, the notary is going to fill it out. Oh, the notary can tell you how to do that. No, no, and no. Right. So what I did is I started educating the social services staff with a five steps to notarization, and said, look, they need to have ID. Here's how the ID works in our state. They need to have the document. It needs to be completed. Step 2. They need to, so everything was right there and I laminated it and left it as a giveaway just to keep that. So every time you call a notary in, first you can counsel your patient to make sure they're even a candidate for notarization. And if you want to know more, I do have something called Laura Biewer Presents. In it is a video series on hospital work, along with the most common documents, powers of attorney, healthcare directives, and then last wills. All 3 of those videos you will find in Laura Biewer Presents. That's at notarycoach.com/LBP. And it comes as a replay library. I have other specialties in there, but hospitals in particular. So I don't know if you have hospitals nearby.
Yes, plenty.
There you go.
She does in Houston. She does. Yep.
Thank you so much. You gave me a very good perspective.
Kayla, the link for LBP, Laura Biewer Presents, is in the chat for you.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. And I want to remind you, because I know it is such a delicate balance when you have a career, especially as a teacher, that's so demanding. But notaries like myself, who don't want to work early in the morning or in the evening or on weekends, really appreciate notaries like you who do want to do that. And so I would also encourage you, I kind of mentioned this before, everything Laura said, 100%, but also get out there and start meeting other notaries, because once you do, Kayla, you will find that once you start building trust within that notary community in Houston, and there's, plenty of notaries down there for you to get to know, you can send each other referrals back and forth. So if someone calls you and says, hey, I need you at 10 a.m., but you're in school, you can refer that to a notary colleague. And if they get a call for something at 8 o'clock at night and they're like, I can't because I've got my kids, they can send that over to you. So while you're making these decisions, get online and find notaries in Houston that are near you and reach out and make those connections and start building that piece of your business as well.
Yes, excellent advice. Thank you so much.
You got it. Thanks for bringing up that question. Thank you.
Of course.
And I want to remind everybody, I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat, you guys. I did dip into the chat earlier when nobody was raising their hands for questions to, fill some space. But I want to remind you guys, we always go with raised hand questions first over anything in the chat. And that said, Michael in Maryland has a question for us. Michael, what can we do for you today?
Okay, I think Ms. Quintero was before me, but I'll be happy to jump in real quick. Maybe she has an answer for this. I stepped out for a moment, so this may have been covered, but it's regarding doing hospital work and going in. I went in one time and I didn't trust the couple. I went out to the nurse's station. They're like, yeah, they did this all the time. And so it was an elderly lady who could have maybe, you're not the medical professional, so the man in the street thing you got to come up with, she was available to do so. But what is your ethical obligation there? Do I call the police because these people or somebody else or the family will just go out and get a notary to come in and take care of the notarization when they shouldn't be, because they're going to turn a blind eye to it, where I wasn't going to have anything to do with it. But again, my question is, what is the ethical and moral obligation? Is there a legal obligation that we have, first of all?
No, so we don't have a legal obligation. We're not mandated reporters. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I would report it to the nursing staff at the desk about what you observed, and that you're concerned they might bring, because I've had it happen, they might just go get somebody else who's willing to do whatever they say and take advantage of this client. And of course, they're in the hospital's care. So they have some responsibility to try to prevent this from happening. Ombudsman doesn't work in a hospital because it's acute care. It's not long-term care, and that's where they work. So that's not going to work for us. Another one, if, again, we're not mandated, the other one would be Adult Protective Services, APS. They can go in there. If you think it's a serious enough situation where they're trying to take somebody's rights, take over their checking account, things like that. So there are a couple of options. Just know that we're not required and we don't have a legal obligation.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Good deal.
Thank you, Michael, for your question today. And our last question of the day is Mary. Mary,
Hi.
tell us where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Stockton, California.
Okay, what's your question?
Yeah, I was trying to put myself on video, but
that's okay.
Okay, wonderful. Anyway, I had a question. I received an invitation from Ameristate, or I put it in the chat. Ameristate, yes. And they're inviting me to an estate class, and they want me to bring clients in. However, I hesitated because I wanted to hear more about them. I want to know that these people are legitimate. They do good work for people before I even present them to these lawyers. So I wanted to see if anyone else has worked with them before I present these people. I have several people I would like to send invitations to, but I'm a little hesitant.
So I work for them.
Okay.
And they are a legal plan service. So they prepare estate planning documents.
Wonderful.
That's what they do. They've been around, gosh, forever. I've been working for them maybe 15 years now. And so they are contracted with attorneys along the 6 different states. So they have contracts with attorneys in 6 different states who are by telephone accessible for a 30-minute consultation when somebody's preparing their trust. They answer the basic questions. Then the legal service, which is Estate, they prepare the document part. They ship it to one of their notaries because they have their own grouping of notaries that they use internally. Meaning they're mobile notaries everywhere, but they're like their own little signing service for themselves. And then the book is shipped to them, and then that notary goes and does the delivery. So that's what their process looks like. They offer what are called educational webinars, and who they're asking you to bring are people that might want to buy a trust. That's who they want you to bring with you, so that they could educate them a little bit on either the overall, or they might cover a specific topic. And maybe that's what's of interest to the person. But again, the idea is it's a sales presentation.
I see. Okay.
Many attorneys do it on their own. Other companies also do it. Premier did it. I mean, there's lots of people out there that do that, but they are a reputable organization.
Wonderful.
And they do create good trusts.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, they also prepared the invitation email that all I had to do is plug in the email and their name, and it was just all prepared for me. It's like, wow, this is great. But
they have a good setup there. They have somebody in charge of helping people help them get to AmeriState so that they can sell them the trust. So they have a pretty formal setup for that, and they have a lot of materials.
Yes, well,
Let's say
that's
sales
wonderful to
materials.
know. Yeah, and I have a lot of Spanish speaking clients as well, so I wanted to send them also to them. So yes, well, thank you, Laura, for your time and your advice and information.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Absolutely. And I know we're going to get ready to close the call here in a minute. And I noticed that Lisa posted something that I think is very important, because there's a lot of California notaries on the call, and that is on National Notary Day, which is this Thursday. They're hosting a 1 hour, 9 to 10 Pacific time National Notary Day. I don't know what they're doing, actually, workshop. They've never, in my 20 years, ever reached out to notaries about anything. So I have no idea what they're planning, but that's 9 to 10. And then right after that, the National Notary Association is putting on a Notary Public Day as well. So you've got
That's right.
two events, 9 to 10 and 10 to 11.
Thursday is our day. Thursday is National
All
Notary
day.
Day. That's right. I hope you guys choose some way to celebrate, whether it's through the California Secretary of State event, maybe your state's having a local event, or through the National Notary Association, who is also holding a Zoom event. And you can visit the National Notary Association website to get registered for that. Thank you guys all so much for taking the time today to be a part of this call. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, answering all of your questions. Have a fabulous day. Have a great Notary Public Day, and we will see you next Tuesday for TNT. Bye, everybody.
Long.
Go vote if you haven't. Bye.